What's going on, guys? This is Ignite, and this is one of those Modern Warfare 3 commentaries that I was talking to you about in quite a few of my last Black Ops. Here we go, 2.0 episodes, and I apologize I didn't get around to it sooner, but sit back, relax, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. What I'm going to be talking about is new Commentator Jitters. I have my list here. The first thing that I kind of want to touch on is when people start commentating. First off, in their mind, they have this thought process going on where they think, oh, I'm just talking to a camera or a computer, microphone, whatever you use to record, and I put it over some gameplay, put it over whatever footage you want to put it over, and upload it to YouTube. Well, unfortunately, I mean, if you're really thinking about it solely based on how it's done, I guess, then that is what you do. You talk to a microphone or a camera that records your audio or whatever you're recording, and you edit it together in a video editing software and render it out and upload it, and that is what you do, but it's unfortunately not that easy. The hardest part, at least for me, when I first started, was coming up with things to talk about and keeping the flow going so you don't have those awkward silences like this or anything like that throughout your entire video. And it was just one of those things that I struggled with. I would always think of or try to think of new things to talk about while I'm recording, because I felt like I ended up talking too fast, and when I would go back and listen to it, I really didn't. It was just that the videos or the gameplays were longer than I had thought, and it didn't take me as long to say what I wanted to say. So that's the first part, is it's not as easy as you think. You kind of have to get accustomed to talking to a camera and knowing what you want to say. One thing that's good is making a list before you go into a commentary like this one that I have, and over time you'll get better at it. But don't think, I mean, obviously there are some people who are just naturals and they could talk for days, but other than that, you gotta get used to it, and over time you'll get better. It's all just getting used to the feel of being a commentator. And the second thing I want to talk about, or another thing, is something I just did. If you go back and listen for it, I said and that is one thing that I would guarantee, or at least put money on, that almost any new commentator that starts says There are even some that I watched. There's actually one, I won't say who it is, but he's fairly established, about 200,000 subscribers, and I don't know for sure, I didn't look into it all that much, about, there we go again, I didn't look into it a whole lot about when he started his channel or anything like that, but he actually, and this might give it away who it is if you guys follow him, he puts a timer in the bottom right hand corner of his videos, and I forget what he calls it, but it's essentially the timer, and he'll let it go until he says for the first time in his episode. And when I was watching it, in the episode that I watched, he lasted 18 seconds before he said and then throughout the rest of the video he probably said it 7 or 8 times, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It kind of keeps the tempo going, and it can, to an extent, it can replace those silences by just throwing in that simple word. But, and I mean, for some people it can be that thought transition, but for a lot of people it's that what do I say next sort of a thing. So try to stay away from as much as you can. I mean, it might sound nerdy, but when you're recording, if you want to be as professional as you can, you'd almost want to talk like you're reading an English essay, maybe not necessarily with the advanced vocabulary that your teachers would require, but one thing that my teachers always pushed heavily was using the correct transitions so that your paper flowed. And that's kind of what you want to do, is use right transitions so that your commentary flows. Another thing I want to talk about, moving away from that, is kind of the awkward silences. I kind of touched on that. You don't want to have your entire video with awkward silences every few seconds because you're running out of things to talk about. And skipping away from that, one other thing I have on my list is trying to be someone else. A lot of people have, I'm pretty sure everybody does, they have their favorite or their few favorite commentators that they really, really enjoy watching, and they're subscribed and they keep up to date with each and every video that they put out. And I know that I have a few of those. I won't necessarily name who they are, but I do have a few of them also. And if you, I don't really know how to put it, when you watch their videos over and over, each commentator has their own, I guess, catchphrase type of thing, or their own habits that they picked up, or just things that they do that are unique to them. And one thing you don't want to do, which is extremely easy to do, is end up using little phrases that they use or little things that they do that is unique to them, just because that's what you have in your head as what a commentator does. And that's one thing you want to stay away from, because you're essentially copying them and you're trying to be somebody you're not, which is not the way to commentate. What you want to do is just be yourself. And a lot of people end up doing YouTube for money, which is not what you should do anyways. You should make videos because you enjoy it. But that's one thing that goes into their thought process, that it'll be easy, I'll just talk to a camera and make money. And one thing, you shouldn't do that. That's not what YouTube is meant for, or at least in my opinion. It's meant to do what you enjoy, and that's kind of why I'm making this video. If you guys really enjoy commentating, this is just something to get better. I know for me, I really like visual progress, so I like seeing the view counter go up and the like bar go up and comments go up and all of that. I love seeing all of that, but it's not necessarily a requirement for me. I like making videos, and I'm really enjoying my Black Ops series, and honestly, I'm enjoying this video. This is probably going to be one of my better ones that I put out so far. And in this gameplay, switching away from the commentator topic, I'm kind of just holding down this flag, or the A flag and the B flag, as much as I can. So I'm getting a little campy, but at the same time I'm playing the objective in the sense that I'm defending rather than being an offensive player. So that's the whole deal behind that, and it's actually kind of funny. I get my Moab right here. I call it in, and I'm just running around trying to keep on the B flag and the A flag. One thing I don't do that a lot of people do is once they call in a Moab, they'll just run around and get shot. And in this game, at least, I didn't want to die again. But it actually cut out right there. That was because the host had left, and he just rage quit, so it cut out. And it was actually funny, when it came back, it puts this counter in slow motion, which was kind of interesting. But anyways, back to the whole commentator deal. You don't want to try to be someone you're not, because you won't make it far. You'll end up running into so many barriers that will just hold you back, and then you'll have to backtrack and essentially apologize for doing things that aren't you. And the final and last thing I want to talk about is repetition. And that's one thing that a lot of commentators do, is instead of getting those awkward silences or saying they'll just repeat something they had said earlier, which is fine if it's something you want to talk about or get your point across. It's fine to repeat it once. Shot that guy in the back. But it's alright to repeat it once, just to kind of reiterate what you had said previously. But you don't want to, once you start repeating it 3-4 times, it gets a little annoying in my opinion. That might just be me, but that's one thing that I don't like to hear, is a commentator saying the exact same thing over and over. So those are just a few tips for you guys. I hope it helps. For me, the biggest thing was coming up with things to talk about to be able to last through a 10-minute episode like this, which is what these lists are extremely nice for. You don't necessarily have to write it down physically, I guess. And there's Rabbit Tiger getting the final kill cam. Shout out Rabbit Tiger. There he is. But you don't necessarily have to write it down physically. Just get it down in your head and you'll be good. So, until the next episode, guys, peace out.